Look at Bitcoin on the hourly chart right now. I want to explain in this video why this is of no surprise to me. I want to talk about what's potentially next for Bitcoin and for crypto. As we go into this crazy dramatic, crazy volatile week, how is this possible even on the hourly right now? There is a ton of fear, uncertainty, and doubt in the crypto markets right now. I'm going to dig into the charts and we're going to talk about all the targets and what to anticipate next as we kind of enter this brand new week, because it's a very big deal. Hit the like button for me. Hit the subscribe. It really means a lot. Your support means a lot. But I want to start here real quick because this is what's going on. Do you realize that after Luna, Celsius, BlockFi, Voyager Digital, FTX, rising inflation, recession, now SVB, Bitcoin is still trading at $21,000 in oversold conditions at the end of a bear market? So this is Bitcoin on the monthly chart. And I noted in yesterday's video, this entirety of the bear market, Bitcoin down less than the two previous bear markets. And Bitcoin already diverging away from the 80% plus dips in previous bear markets, not quite getting there. That's number one. But really number two, everybody, is the fact that Bitcoin right now, if we're looking into these charts, we're zooming in on the charts from a daily perspective that you see here, Bitcoin is just, it's commonplace. It's like any other ordinary day amidst everything that's going on right now. We hit our target to the downside. Bitcoin right at this 200-day moving average, $19,000 to $20,000. We're getting a bounce to the upside. And right now, as we kind of see all of this playing out in real time, I want to once again discuss from a technical analysis perspective what is next. And I'm going to tie in events, because events, the headlines, whether it's having to do with the Fed or Jerome Powell speaking, or we see the headlines today, it's all about Yellen. Yellen says government will help SVB depositors, but rules out bailout for the SVB bank. Now, if we're looking at this now, this is tying into, I think, the narrative of the week. So Bitcoin right now bouncing from a technical perspective on the hourly, it doesn't necessarily mean Bitcoin is out of the woods. So let's kind of break this down. Going into tomorrow, there might be a little bit of volatility to the downside. And I first want to touch base with that. And then we're going to talk about the bullish continuation of this move. So potential volatility to the downside, even with after this nice daily green candle that we're actually getting right now amidst all of this fear, what could this potentially look like? We've already, throughout our technical analysis, have been really spotting a very similar move, right? We've been kind of comparing what happened here in this downside target to the downside hit, $19,000 to $20,000. We've compared it to what happened back here. If we look at the momentum oscillators, even extremely similar, meaning kind of coming from this oversold territory, overbought into oversold back here. This was in November. And then similarly coming from overbought into oversold most recently in this most recent dip. Now we're bouncing out. But take note what happened back here from a momentum oscillator perspective. And this is with the move to the upside still in play, but it was a while away from happening. This is a daily chart. You can just see higher highs and higher lows on the momentum oscillator. This is something that we can anticipate now, but during that time of higher highs and higher lows and that momentum shift on this daily chart, we did see Bitcoin, it kind of came out of that dip, went back into it, and there was volatility to the downside along the way, right? So we came into this dip, we're popping out of it. There might be volatility along the way. Tomorrow even, if there's negative volatility to the downside, this could be the case for Bitcoin to kind of come back down on the shorter term, put in a higher low, testing the $20,000 region, testing the 200-day moving average, even testing this higher low support area that we have in play, which is the swing low back here in November, up to the swing high and back down. So there's room for volatility to the downside as we might see this bullish momentum oscillator start setting up this bullish divergence, meaning we're getting these higher lows on the momentum oscillator. So there's room for consolidation. Be prepared for that. Now, the bullish case where Bitcoin could actually just continue, even if there's a little moment of brief consolidation, I don't want to get ahead of myself here, but it's this one thing that people have kind of forgotten about for a moment. It's this. It's March 14th. Because of everything that's going on with SBV right now and this bank situation, all eyes are kind of on that. Kind of forgetting for a brief moment, March 14th, the inflation, the CPI data coming out. I don't know what it's going to be. I know if we look at Trueflation, we see it just falling and it's acted as a really solid leading indicator. I think there's a very strong possibility that we might get better than anticipated, better than expected results. If that's the case on Tuesday, markets might continue to the upside. So these are hourly candles right now. It could be kind of the start of it, right? We're potentially right now getting set up for some separation from the previous swing low, and that's good. So we have some room for tomorrow if there's a lot more fear and uncertainty that needs to get shaken out of the market, coming back down maybe. And then Tuesday, if CPI data is strong, and that's an if. I'm not saying it's definitely going to be, but if that happens, this could be the case of bullish continuation to the upside for Bitcoin. Key areas to watch at this point truly are the moving averages. We have the 20-day recently crossing below the 50-day. We're getting a strong consolidation of all three moving averages, the 20, the 50, and the red one, the 200. So consolidation throughout the bottoming of this bear market is strong, but we want to see what happens really at this trend line that we've most recently broken out of, right? We talk about pullbacks even after hitting a target. What does the pullback look like at the $22,500 area? That's $1,000 above where Bitcoin is, because the 20-day getting pulled into that area, the 50-day just above it at 22,900. A lot of resistance at this 22,300 to 22,900 area for Bitcoin. So if there is a continued move to that upside, what resistance is there is on the very short term what I'd be anticipating. And then obviously to the downside, we've already kind of spoken about the areas of support, the 200-day moving average, the previous swing low that we just had off the bounce of our target that was almost perfectly hit. But also, if things just fall apart and no bullish narratives enter this week, then we are definitely needing to evaluate the lower high Fibonacci, a more midterm Fibonacci pullback area, 19,300 all the way down to 17,500. That's that really red week scenario. But right now, Bitcoin doing what it does, which is really defying the odds, really saying to everything that's going on, I don't really care about what's going on. I'm going to continue my trend. I'm going to continue the consistencies from a charting perspective. Yeah, the headline events, they trigger these moves, but I'm just kind of chilling right now, and I'm continuing on with my technical moves. And this is why I like technical analysis so much. So many people always tell me it doesn't work. But it's time and time again, even in crazy bearish environments, crazy bullish environments, the consistencies on the charts, they just play out. And they act as such a nice roadmap, but more importantly so, they really assist me personally. And that's why I do these videos, how I see the charts. They help me put aside emotion and just kind of stick with what's going on the charts. And so far, all is kind of well in a Bitcoin perspective. So if you actually zoom out, I really wanted to note this. It's this trend line that goes to the bull market high, these lower highs. Bitcoin, you can see if we zoom in now, there's that white trend line. Zooming in, Bitcoin kind of broke out of it, saw support, back above it, fell below it, off the 200, and currently right now in the daily, back above that white trend line, that macro white trend line. That's a really big deal. Of course, as we've noted, there's moves to the downside in play. Maybe Bitcoin trickles down that trend line. That's going to be an area to watch for as well. Just an incredibly confluent area of support below Bitcoin right now. The range of that support from where Bitcoin trades, right around 10% or so. A capitulation type of support that we could anticipate in a very red week would be down to really that macro 786, but the shorter term Fibonacci pullback, it's around 18 to 20% to the downside. Even in that case, Bitcoin on the macro putting in a higher low. So this is everything I'm watching right now as Bitcoin kind of does pump in the face of fear on the hourly chart. We're going to continue tracking this and monitoring this. It's one of those days where it's kind of like if there's continued moves and continued volatility, I might do another video later. If you appreciate these videos, if you enjoy them, if you're on the same page as me, hit that like button for me. If you're not a subscriber, please hit that subscribe. I really appreciate you all. I really do. And I'll see you in the next video. God bless.